Hey everyone, this is group 1A. This is our matrix that we are working on. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the questions. The first question for the lower right quadrant is, what is important to all of you guys on a team about being a high performing team? And please remember, when answering this question, we are listing our values and not goals.
I can go first. Hi, I'm Erica. For me, I would say being punctual is really important, especially when working within a group. It's just super important to not only be punctual, but also just be aware of your group members and just making sure that you have your work done on time, because you're not the only one doing the assignment. There's also other people involved. So punctuality.
I'm Michaela. I would say that's a good one, Erica. Also, communication is super important. It's really important to put out there, any questions you have or concerns. So let's say you can't be punctual. It's important to let the group know.
Yes.
And Michaela, kind of going along with what you said, I found that that goes along with one that is important to me, which is honesty. And I feel like that's just the candor that you were talking about. Like, if you can't make something, or if you don't understand something, you got to have the transparency and the honesty to be like, this is what's up, and we got to figure it out.
Going off that, I think responsibilities also kind of goes with both of those. Just continuing to be also honest and communicative, like with anything that's going on, is the most responsible thing to do for you and your group.
I think for me, being like a servant leader is also really important in group work. So not just being like, hey, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, but also stepping up and being like, okay, I can do this, this, and this. And just really making sure that you're like serving your group first before trying to like lead them.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Going off of that, I'd say for me, it's probably collaboration is really important to me. Just making sure that everyone's heard and like everyone's opinions are heard, so we're not overstepping anyone or talking over anyone. And then really taking everyone's different approaches into consideration when deciding what we're going to do.
That's good.
Going off of collaboration, I would also say that listening is a big factor. Just being able to sit back and listen to what your peers are saying, and then being able to collaborate and base ideas off of what they said. So for the lower left quadrant, we're going to go into talking about our thoughts and feelings. So when you think about being a high performing team, what thoughts or feelings may show up or get in the way?
I can go. I think frustration, definitely. When you're not communicating or things aren't going your way or how you saw it going, it could get really frustrating. Or trying to find common time can also be frustrating. So I think those feelings could definitely get in the way of being like more open-minded.
For me, it's definitely like feeling kind of like what you're going off, but also feeling like I don't know what it is. And so then I'm like scared of like being wrong, especially when it's like with members rather than just like a professor being like, okay, hey, you didn't do this right, but like amongst peers being wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like something that inhibits me a lot is just that judgment and that embarrassment. And you're right. I think it's different with a professor. You can be wrong because they're here to teach you. But with a peer, it's like we have to hold each other accountable, and we have to be able to like contribute, and not wait for other people to do things for us, but to do them for other people. Like you're saying, being like a servant leader. So it's all just like it's hard to lead and it's hard to contribute if you feel incompetent.
I think it definitely has to do with like confidence and pride and stuff whenever with what you're doing, but there also is like a super fine line like between that.
Yeah. One of the thoughts I get, I personally, I feel nervous. I guess this goes for me and for my group members, whether I'm late with a certain assignment that's due, or I also feel nervous when I know I'm relying on other group members, and if they were to hand in something late and affect my grade. So that's one of the big thoughts I have, is just feeling nervous.
I would say feeling anxious. I get really anxious about like knowing if I'm saying the right thing, like if I'm on the right track, or saying if I'm not on the right track, and just kind of getting a little bit like anxious, a little bit with like judgmentalness. Moving on to the upper left quadrant. What do you do to move away from or under the control of the bottom left stuff, meaning the feelings and the thoughts?
I always try to just focus on, the person that I'm trying to help be more independent and succeed in whatever. And I try to keep that at like the forefront of my mind during, even when it's like hard and frustrating.
Yes, I agree. I also, sounds a little silly, but I like to do like positive self-talk. So kind of just if I'm feeling nervous or anxious just about the workload that I have, or having other people rely on me, I just like to remind myself like, all right, you got this. It's just, it's temporary. You can do it. So just positive self-talk.
I do something kind of similar. I do more of like where they're like, it's okay. They also don't know everything. Like they're also learning. They're also cool, like kind of justifying, like if I am wrong, that like, hey, these people also are not professionals and have not learned everything either.
Yeah.
Yes.
I often take a step back and, do some deep breathing to try and lessen my frustration, and maybe even like go away from the task for a little bit, but I always make sure I come back to it. So those are definitely some of my strategies.
I also feel like confidence is a good strategy to have. I know I personally don't know everything, but kind of bouncing off of what you two said is, yes, remembering, hey, we're all in grad school, we're all kind of in the same position, not everyone knows everything. So if we like exert confidence, then for the most part, I feel like we can all get by, as long as we feel confident with what we're saying and doing. And it's been working well with all of us.
And like you said, like that fear and being anxious to trust people, like, and that things will get turned in on time. Along with that confidence is just like that trust too, that you can say things without, like these people without the people you're working with judging you. And I feel like that's like a part of that, like counteracting.
Totally.
Going on to the upper right quadrant. This question is asking, what could us as a team, be seen doing to move forward, or to what is important, meaning what matters to you?
For me personally, and this might sound silly, but taking a break when you need it, I have the hardest time being like, yeah, I do need a break, but sometimes that's the best thing to do for you and your client, even if like someone has to tell you to take a break.
Yes. I think another good one is showing up to meetings prepared. So reviewing what the assignment is before meeting with your group, or just having a meeting so that you're prepared during the meeting.
Like our communication as well is really important. So like how we all kind of use our group chat to communicate when we can meet, how we can meet, what times work best for everyone, and we really try and incorporate everyone. And so we all are successful in this. So we all move towards what is important, which is getting our work done and helping each other out with anything that's needed and getting things done on time.
Going off of communication, I also feel like just being open to others. So like, I know for our group specifically, none of us wanted to meet on the weekends, but we have had times where we're just like, if it's absolutely necessary, we will meet on the weekend. So just being open and being flexible with our schedules.
Yes. Anyone else? I think another good one. I feel like a lot of you do this. I know Victoria, I'm calling you out, but you're really good at starting discussions. You don't necessarily take over the meetings, but I think it's a great thing because you get us all engaged and talking, and we all get involved because you start those discussions. So I think that's a great thing to do too within a group.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Seeing how we're calling people out, I think Erica's been doing a great job of like keeping us all on task too. So that's really important because sometimes we get so mixed up or like entangled in what we think we should be doing instead of like just like focusing on what it's actually saying. I think we all overthink situations.
Yes, thank you, Erica. I feel like you always know the answers to things.
No,
and,
that just goes to the nervousness of
no,
not
but
getting
it's
things
still, I
done.
mean, it keeps us on track, and it helps us, cover everything, which is important, at least in a group setting,
Everyone's doing great.
Well, guys, thank you for finding what goes to and moving towards our goals and being able to describe those. Thank you for joining.